Hello there and welcome to Concept Hunter. My name is KOKOStern. I shall be your host for today, and I have two games for you. The first one is a platformer where we've pretty much seen everything before, but it tries to do something kind of innovative and it tries to be interesting, so we'll see how it succeeds, and it's called Momentum. And the second one is kind of quirky and has a mechanic that I don't see that often, and it does it really, really well. So let's get started. Momentum is our first game. I'll enable the music. This is a nice little ambience for us, and press enter to play. Okay, press space or up to jump. First things first, the controls, space or up. If you've ever seen Concept Hunter, you probably know that this is one of the things that I need in a game. Why just space to jump? Why not the up key? And here they allow it, so I automatically approve of this game. This game wins as far as I'm concerned because it allows me to jump with both the space key and the up key. That's it. We can move on, but let's not move on and stick around a little bit, even though we've pretty much seen everything before. If you are familiar with a small little game that no one really played ever called Portal, then you pretty much saw everything that this game has to offer, most of what this game has to offer. And that's kind of the gist of it and one of its biggest problems. It's called Momentum, and we are dealing with momentum and with portals. As you move through the portals, the momentum is maintained, and so you can move around in different ways. We're also going to see some gravity shifts, and that's pretty much what you're doing. Now, I have to mention the way that you actually control the block little character. Very simplistic graphics, but who cares? When I'm jumping, after I jumped, while I'm in air, I cannot really gain momentum. I can, but it's very, very small. So if I jump and only then press right or left, then it moves very, very, very small amount of movement. If, however, I start my movement, then I'm obviously going to get the longer jump. And we're not used to this. In most platformers, you can do whatever you want while you're in air. And this one makes more sense. So it's a much more realistic implementation of momentum, is what I'm trying to say. So you reach the big yellow square and you're pretty much done. You need momentum to activate switches, so I'm going to go in the portal, boom. And I also have to mention that I can't show my mouse, but I have to mention the tiny little, next to the switch you can see a little square that rotates. It shows you the direction of the rotation. Not very needed because there's very little switches, but a really nice little touch that I really like visual representation of what something does, and it just shows it in a very simplistic manner, which is absolutely lovely. Don't forget about jumping. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to follow the ground. Obviously, it's going to rotate in one directions, and I'm going to jump here, make it, boom, changes it again, and I'm done with the level. So these are very, very easy levels. We're now introduced to the part where there's another cube. Get to the right side. Okay, there's a cube that I can move around by pressing control. Now I have control of it. The control key does what the control key does. And then follow your instincts. And this is actually a sentence that I want to stay on for a little bit. Follow your instincts. It's a bit of a problem for me. In this case, not following my instincts, but what the game asks you to actually do. In Portal, what was amazing about Portal is the fact that you pretty much had limitless possibilities. You could do whatever the hell you want because you could create portals wherever you want, which allows you to approach the problem at hand in any possible way. Obviously, there's a set amount of possibilities to solve it. There's a set amount of solutions, but you could try whatever you want, you could do whatever you want. And in such a game where you need to reach the exit, basically, same as Portal, but the portals are in a very specific location, you don't have many options. It's very obvious what you need to do. Even in the later levels, and there are later levels with tons of portals and tons of cubes and tons of stuff happening and all kinds of switches, this game really develops well. It still kind of feels simplistic and bland in a way that you just kind of go with the level. And it even adds up to the point where on the right side here, obviously, again, you can't see my mouse, but there's a scoreboard and there's a timer just behind my face that you can't see, that it shows you the fastest speeds for people to complete the level. And you can see that in most cases it's like, 6 seconds, now it's 8 seconds. You can finish the levels very, very quickly. There isn't too much. Obviously, when you're speedrunning, you know what you need to do. It's pretty fast, but you don't really shy away from that, even in the first time of completing the level, because it's kind of obvious. It says momentum equals mass times velocity. So I mean, there isn't too much to think. I'm not thinking. And when you do start thinking, which is really later on, you can see that right now if I'll press P or escape, and you go to level select, and you can see that we are at level 1.6, and we reach, there's 1.15, and then there's 2.1. I expected a huge shift when we reached the second big stage, or maybe second world of the game. But everything pretty much stays the same. We're just introduced to more mechanics. There isn't a huge shift, not even in the way, not even the graphics. And a little shift would be nice. A little bit of an explanation how the game differs when you play here or play there. And basically all it does is introduce more mechanics. It's cool mechanics, it's interesting mechanics. But in each one of these, you learn to play with the different mechanics for half the world, I'll call it world, for half the world. So we're at level 6 and we still haven't really done anything that's too complicated. I mean, everything is kind of obvious and kind of easy to deal with. And only the later levels of each world do you really have to stop and think just a little bit. Everything other than that is just kind of obvious. Here it says think outside the box. Some people might actually get stuck a little bit, but there isn't too much to get stuck because there isn't too many possibilities here. And that's why the game is kind of bland. You really have to innovate and make something very interesting when you're dealing with mechanics that we've seen a million times before. And that's why I feel this game kind of fails a little bit. The level progression, it just feels a little bit bland to me. However, I really enjoyed it, especially the later levels. They're pretty damn great. It makes you think a little bit. The fact that you have the gravity shifting is pretty nice. So overall, it's a nice game, but it needs a little bit more innovation, something to blow my mind, and it didn't really do that. It was just more of the same for me. And the level progression, 8 levels of standard stuff, very obvious, I can't go wrong, and then it starts becoming a little bit precision-based, timing-based, a little bit of more interest in there. And that's Momentum. Let's go immediately to the second game I have for you today. It's called Alias Shift. Alias Shift. Yes, not so casual multiplayer online games. Very slow introduction. Move forward. Okay, we get to Alias Shift, and I'm gonna press play. Alias? I don't know if I'm reading. I don't even know what the word means. I should have looked it up before. I'm an idiot for not doing so. And I'm at level 13. There are 15 levels, which isn't as much, but it's nice. And let's get immediately started and understand what you do here. So click to create filler up. So I click and I create basically pixels and color, and you move on. That's it. Kind of. WASD to shift gravity, like playing with confetti, a little bit embarrassing. Gotta start from here. So I can't do it anywhere. We started with I can create confetti anywhere, and I can only create them there. Second hand goes on WASD, and I can create these confetti. One bad point in this game is that I absolutely despise the sound effects. They are horrible, and I hate them. Please make better sound effects, because they're horrible. The music is okay. The music is just, you know, there's music, I guess. It's not amazing or anything, but it's just kind of the sound. Listen to the sound where they make. It's just like, I don't know. I really hate it. I really hate it. But other than that, it's a nice game that introduces a lot of things in a pretty cool fashion. We'll get to that in a second. This level specifically, it's level 3. We've already been introduced to the basics, and level 1 and 2 are kind of done, kind of did that for us, and we don't really need any more. And then you get this level, which is basically a time sink. It basically wastes time, and I really hate it. This level should not be here. It's just a waste of time, and you can understand what I need to do. I can just get everything up so that it wouldn't fan over to the left side, and then everything to the left, and then get it. I'm gonna press P, pause. No, P doesn't work. I have to press here. It even says that it's P. I'm ashamed. Levels, let's jump ahead to level 4 immediately. Now, level 4, the weird thing is that initially I could put confetti wherever I want to, but then at level 2 and 3, I had a specific square where I could put confetti, and now again I can put it wherever I want to, which kind of throws me off. It's okay, but it kind of throws you off, which is a bit weird. Now, we're introduced to 2 new things here. Both infections. I'm just going to call them infections, which you basically, it's a different color. When I create them, they're still normal, but once they touch other infected confetti, they stay in whatever color that they should be at. And so I can create them anywhere, so I need to press this button just once. Now, obviously, if it's not pressed, then it's not pressed, they can't get through, but every confetti they create will automatically become green, so I can fill it up very quickly. So we're introduced to two things. We were introduced to two things in this level instead of one, which is fine because they're kind of simple and slow, but why did you have level 3? I really hate level 3. You could either split this introduction into 2 levels, or you could just remove level 3 because it's just a time sink that I dislike. It's obvious and it's annoying, to say the least. And that's the big problem with this game. You have to keep innovating because if you don't, it gets boring because you have to create so many confetti. And it does it really, really well except for that level. That one level that really pissed me off. So now, keep them all in the air. I can only create them on the right side. I need to get them to the left side. Obviously, if I touch the red, they become red. But since then they become they touch the blue ones again, so they should be fine. And I'm not entirely positive of the, yeah, I seem to completely screw up. I'm not entirely sure of the ratio of how it works, how many blue ones, how many red ones in order to make it perfect. But the good thing is you can press R and restart, and then you're fine, and then you are just fine. So it's gonna take a little bit of time for me to get them all blue, but they should be fine, even though I have a little bit of contingency. Oh crap, no, you're okay, okay, good. We're good, they're all blue, we're fine. And this is a little bit of it's cute little things, and as long as you keep innovating, and they do it very, very well, then the game stays fresh, and it did. Now we're introduced to a little bit of everything. You can put, again, confetti everywhere, which is kind of weird, but we have switches where we can just activate. This one I shouldn't have, let's restart. I shouldn't have activated that one. And now I'm going to open these two, but not the last one, because I need to get them here, and I don't want them to get red. I'm going to create a couple that are yellow. I don't need to create any more. It's more comfortable to control just a small amount of confetti, obviously, than it is to control a large amount of confetti, because then it's hectic and they go everywhere. And since I can create them anywhere, and they'll now become yellow, I'm pretty much good. So this is a pretty cool thing, and now again, only at a specific area can I create them. I want to create just a couple and control only them because now I have to actually have precise movement. And this is something I really want to talk about, and it's quite, I'm absolutely loving it. You see this block of wood that I can move around that blocked me, and I can move it around, okay? There's tons of uses for it in different levels. The thing is that you'd expect this to get, if let's say I got it to the right side, and then it gets stuck and basically have to restart the level. Not so at all. I just have to have the confetti next to it, and by pressing left, it will actually move. So I never get stuck. Actually, I don't even have to have them next to it. I just, if it's in a corner and I move in a specific direction, it will move. And nothing will ever get stuck. Which is pretty cool when you think about it. Nothing will ever get stuck because of the way that mechanics work. And I have to say, this is pretty commendable because it means I don't have to restart. Most games just have you restart the level and then try again to move it correctly. And that could create a very large amount of frustration, which you really want to avoid with such a game. So they're doing it really, really nicely. And that small mechanic of nothing ever getting stuck, you can always move it around. Even this cube, if I get it stuck, let's move this to the right side, have to keep them in the air. Even if I get it stuck there, I can still pull it back. It's just kind of hard. Well, maybe this one I can't because it's really stuck. But you'll never get to a real situation where we're completely screwed. And I absolutely love that. So I'm going to go to levels and jump a bit ahead. As an example here, we have blocks that you can move around that also infect, which creates a pretty interesting scenario. So they also infect, and I can create anywhere, and this level could actually take you a couple of tries because it can really get screwed up. And outside of that, the later levels also have up and away. You have things that they're stuck there, and I can't move them. I can move them left and right, but I cannot, they're stuck. So it has all kinds of little things. It keeps it fresh. I'm at level 13, I haven't finished it yet. It's very hard to not be annoying, and they managed to do so. So a really, really big thumbs up to the guys who made Aeolus Shift. We're going to give credit where credit is due. Momentum is by Sandamit, and Aeolus Shift is by Chanter. I think it's Chanter. And that's it for Concept Hunter, Aeolus Shift, Momentum. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys next week. Laters.